Hey everybody, so once again, lots of new stuff to talk about today. You'd think in the lead up to E3 that gaming news would be really sparse, but apparently that's not the case this year. First off, I just want to briefly talk a bit more about a few of the topics I covered in my last video. So I went over crowd cheer theory last time, basically that it appears the European language voice acting teams that did the crowd cheers for the base game and Fighter Pass 1 have not returned for Fighter Pass 2. The theory then goes that they might not have been called back at all for anything for Fighter Pass 2, which would deconfirm any fighters that would require extensive voice acting in multiple languages, such as a Pokemon rep, since they actually say their own names, and the names of most Pokemon vary greatly between different languages. Well, in the comments of that last video, Not a Pro 64 wrote me a really good point. They said, considering the pandemic, I think it's natural that they wouldn't hire people when possible. If they literally have to, then they'd just hire someone. So the lack of voice acting in several languages might be one of the tolls the pandemic has taken on our Fighter Pass 2 content. Alright, so also last time I talked about a leak I was sent for some future characters coming to Brawlhalla. So spoiler warning if you don't want spoilers for that game. The leak I was sent claims the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are coming to Brawlhalla, and Street Fighter will also either get a character or characters in Brawlhalla eventually as well. Where this info is coming from has not heard anything about Ubisoft getting a playable fighter in Smash Bros, but believes they likely would if that was actually happening. So, if this leak is true, it's possible no Ubisoft reps are coming to Smash. Or at least this person hasn't heard about it anyway. And they seem to think they're in a position where they would hear something like that. As for other potential future Ubisoft content coming to Smash, like Mii costumes or Spirit events, who knows? Now, I felt sort of bad about this one, as it might deconfirm Rayman, and I know a lot of people who are hopeful for him. And sadly, once again, I have some more bad news for Rayman fans. Tio on my Discord, going by Ninten here, has confessed to being the originator of the teensy bit of trouble title of a fake leak for a future Mario plus Rabbids game featuring Rayman. We keep seeing this title pop up in other fake leaks, so Tio wanted to clear things up that they were the first person to fake a leak with that name. I guess Tio does a teensy bit of trolling. Also in my last video, I mentioned how the voice actors for Crash Bandicoot and Neo Cortex were recording for something mysterious. And while there's an infinite number of things this could possibly be recording for, one possibility, of course, is it's something for Super Smash Bros. Either a Crash Bandicoot reveal trailer, or maybe Neo Cortex appears on a Crash Bandicoot stage, or as like Crash Bandicoot's Final Smash or something, and has voice lines for that. Thinking this recording is for something Smash related is, of course, being very hopeful though. But I just wanted to point out that if it was for Smash, it actually wouldn't be the first time a voice actor vaguely hinted at an exciting recording project that ended up being for Super Smash Bros. The voice actor for Shulk made a vague tweet about exciting game recordings that they had done before Shulk was revealed to be part of Super Smash Bros. Speaking of Crash, the Crash Bandicoot Twitter wrote, "Bandicoot's coming in hot." And then Walmart Canada Gaming wrote, "Careful, they might smash into something." Now, I've seen people getting excited over this, specifically what Walmart Canada Gaming wrote, but I just want everyone to be aware that Walmart Canada Gaming does this sort of thing all the time. They did it for Geno, they did it for Master Chief on Halo's anniversary. The Twitter account seems to just be run by a true fan of video games and Smash Bros. So while the account is really cool in my book and totally worth following, they don't seem to actually know anything about Smash characters. They just like to tweet about gaming stuff just like the rest of us nerds. There was something else that happened that could go well in Crash's favor for getting into Super Smash Bros. On Twitter I was sent, "Hey PapaGenos, the official Crash on the Run page held a Q&A online and someone posted about Smash Bros. It was the only comment they heart reacted from the thread. Maybe just the admin having fun, but could be something." This is the official Crash on the Run Facebook page they're talking about. There are a little over 100 comments on that post, and the only post to get the heart react was the one about Super Smash Bros. Now this of course probably doesn't mean anything beyond the fact that the person running the Facebook page here would love to see Crash and Smash. But hey, we can dream. I also happened to receive a very interesting tweet from Mudkip971, and they wrote, "Hey PapaGenos, I just found this by accident. In a humorous way, GameSpot named the player character Sakurai for their early gameplay showcase of SMT3 HD. Now, I know they might have insider info. I know they might not have insider info, and this most likely means nothing, but could this potentially be some sort of hint?" I went over and watched the video from GameSpot, and yeah, they did name the Demi-fiend character Masahiro Sakurai. Very random of them to name this character Sakurai and potentially make a reference to the creator of Super Smash Bros. Of course, there is actually a character in a different Shin Megami Tensei game, Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, whose name is actually Masahiro Sakurai, though that name's kind of obscure as the character is better known as Spooky. And even if this is not a reference to that character, but rather a reference to the real-life game developer Masahiro Sakurai, it very well might just be GameSpot messing around here. But it does make you think, if somehow they did happen to have some insider info about a future Smash character, this would be a really clever and subtle way to leak such knowledge. This one obviously really hinges on whether or not GameSpot could possibly have any insider information on Super Smash Bros. Maybe they just wanted some attention and were trying to generate views or something, and knew the Smash community would read into them naming the character Masahiro Sakurai and end up watching that video. It got me talking about it, so it worked to get my attention at least. Again, if they did know something about Smash, and that is a big if, I do think naming a character Sakurai in a gameplay video is an incredibly clever way to leak a Smash character in a very subtle and indirect way. If they didn't want to be known for leaking that, but still wanted to have the clout after the fact that they did know about it, this would be a pretty clever way to do that. GameSpot is a very old gaming news site and probably does have some deep connections into the gaming industry at this point, so it is possible someone there could have heard about a future Smash fighter. Alright, so whether or not GameSpot actually knows anything about Smash, or if this is even supposed to be a hint or not aside, let's talk about Demi-fiend as a possible Smash character, as I really haven't talked about him much. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD releases for the Nintendo Switch on May 25th. So the character would be super relevant right now if they got into Super Smash Bros. We have Joker representing the Persona series, an offshoot of the Shin Megami Tensei games, and Joker really only brought Persona stuff into Smash Bros. With him. Specifically, mostly Persona 5 stuff, actually. The Shin Megami Tensei series is also much more relevant to Nintendo than Persona is. There's a long history there, and it even had a Fire Emblem crossover. And we all know being involved with Fire Emblem is the best evidence towards a character's chances of actually getting into Smash Bros. It was a little strange we didn't get a spirit for someone like Jack Frost, who's sort of the Atlas mascot when we got Joker. Absolutely nothing originating from Shin Megami Tensei got any content alongside Joker, not even a spirit or something. Again, it was entirely Persona stuff that Joker brought with him. Maybe when Joker was being negotiated for, the Shin Megami Tensei series was considered as well. After all, a lot of Fighter Pass 2 characters seem to be stuff that was considered for Smash Bros. Before and is now getting a second chance. We've also gotten Sephiroth and Steve in the second pass. Both Square Enix and Microsoft have fighters in the first and second pass now. Could Atlas also be double dipping and getting a character in both of these passes? Maybe. Now, I'm not really much of a Shin Megami Tensei fan myself, but it's a cool series with a long history, so I'd be totally fine with it getting in Smash. However, my personal choice would actually be letting the guest character get into Smash. Smash featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series would be pretty cool. Of course, with our last Miiwave being entirely composed of Capcom characters, I'm a little unsure about any Capcom fighters' potential chances of being part of this second pass now. Certainly possible, I'm just a little wary of actually guessing at them. Speaking of third-party Miis, we're still missing our Lloyd Irving Mii costume from Smash Wii U and 3DS. Nazarus over on Smashboards made a pretty interesting observation. They wrote, "How funny is it that Motoi Sakuraba is back in Pass 2, randomly doing a couple of arrangements so far, when in Pass 1 he was totally missing from doing any. I hope there's more to it than what he randomly did so far. Seems a bit random to just hire him, of all people, to do an arrangement for freaking Steve and then Sephiroth. I think this man has earned a full fighter pack with music made by him at this point, be it Lloyd or whoever else's series that he had made tracks for in the past. Motoi Sakuraba is the composer for the Tales of games, as well as Golden Sun and Dark Souls, to name a few. It is pretty interesting that he wasn't doing remixes of songs for the first Fighter Pass, but has done some for the second. does make you think if he's been hired to do stuff on the second pass, perhaps there could be a reason for that, like the possibility that a game series he created the music for has a character coming in this pass. Lloyd or Yuri or any Tales of character I'd personally be really excited to see in Smash Bros. And of course Dark Souls is another Bandai Namco series that would be incredible to get a fighter from for Smash. We do have a new Spirit event right now for characters with stripes. I know some people on my Discord really want Ninten, and while I personally think his chances are pretty low, I do think I should point out that Mithra was part of the Crowns and Tiaras Spirit event before being upgraded to a playable fighter. So an existing Spirit being part of a Spirit event does not deconfirm that character's chances as a potential future fighter. Sakurai tweeted out this interesting image that involves the Space Invader Taito logo. Now reading into this one would definitely be one of those everything Sakurai does is not a hint for Smash moments. I just figured I'd take the opportunity to say Taito getting any Smash content would be pretty cool. Even a Spirit event or something for like Space Invaders or Bubble Bobble would be pretty sweet. Taito is a subsidiary of Square Enix these days, so they might have the door open through that to get in Smash. The official Smash Bros. JP account retweeted this message. We have started distribution of version 1.11.0 of the smartphone application Nintendo Switch Online. After renewing, you will be able to use the Game Link service, even for Nintendo accounts under the age of 13. So I'm unsure why they felt the need to retweet that, but I'd be very happy if Nintendo starts retooling the Switch to have a nicer voice chat system or something. And of course, adding anything that makes Smash Ultimate's online experience better is very welcome. Alright, so once again we gotta talk about the trial going on between Apple and Epic Games. Without getting into the details, as I've explained it before, and I assume most people out there are somewhat aware of this, basically Epic and Apple have clashed over Fortnite and the policies of the Apple iOS store and are now in court over the whole thing. Much of the court case has been made public, and surprisingly, a ton of stuff about the gaming industry at large has actually been leaked through this hearing. Lots of things you wouldn't expect to have been brought up here have been, and a lot of companies you wouldn't expect to matter much in this case have actually gotten information leaked out. I've mentioned some of the interesting stuff to have leaked out of this before, and it's really too much stuff to completely list out, but we have something new that's come to light that I think is worth talking about. Stefan Sotillo wrote, Nintendo says these portions of an Xbox Biz Dev exec's deposition in Epic v. Apple reflect competitively sensitive information about negotiations between Nintendo and Microsoft. She was primarily deposed about trying to bring xCloud to iOS and more broadly discussed console biz. So we don't know what exactly is talked about in these heavily redacted statements, but it's something that Nintendo requested not to have mentioned here. What was being talked about during this section of the court case was stuff related to bringing xCloud to iOS, as well as other platforms. Nintendo and Microsoft have had a great relationship lately, and we've had rumors of more collaborations to come. Now the highly speculated possibility for what these redacted things could be about is that it could be xCloud and the Xbox Game Pass potentially showing up on the Nintendo Switch. Any Microsoft and Nintendo collaborations could also be very good news for the possibility of a further Microsoft rep possibly getting in Super Smash Bros. Let's hope we can complete the Microsoft Triforce of awesomeness and get Master Chief in Smash. Now, speaking of the Epic Games and Apple court case, and Fortnite and all that stuff, we actually had something really interesting get noticed recently. So one of the other things that leaked from this court case was a document about a bunch of potential collaborations between Fortnite and all sorts of other things. Fortnite does a lot of crossovers. Now, while some of the collaborations mentioned in this document have actually happened, it's unclear if all of these are happening, or if some were canceled or never really got off the ground off of the planning stages and were just kind of considered. iFireMonkey on Twitter, who deals with Fortnite leaks, compiled the crossovers, and a very interesting one is Samus from Metroid. That's right, a Nintendo character, Samus, was one of the characters in this document. This, of course, would be Nintendo content coming to Fortnite if it ever actually ended up happening. Well, there might be more to this Samus and Fortnite stuff beyond simply being in this internal document. Several people sent me messages about this, but basically in a new Batman x Fortnite comic, some people have noticed what appears to be Samus as a silhouette in the background of one of the panels. Now, at first I thought it was a fairly generic outline of someone with large circular shoulders or something, and that thinking it's Samus is sort of reaching. They of course certainly fit the bill for Samus Aran, but it also might just be a coincidence that the outline shape for this random background character looks that way. However, then it was noticed that the two characters standing next to Samus look like outlines for Ryu and Chun-Li, two crossover characters that are already in Fortnite. Well, now it seems these silhouettes might actually have purposely been made to be outlines of a few of the crossover fighters. So that silhouette might really supposed to actually be Samus in this Fortnite Batman crossover comic. On Twitter, Vicky Brewer wrote me, "PapaGenos, this was in an official Fortnite comic released today. In the top left corner is a very striking silhouette. Paired with the fact that the teaser challenge for next season hint at an alien/space theme, it's very likely Samus is coming to Fortnite soon. The next season starts on June 9th, a few days before E3. It's possible Samus could be revealed during Nintendo's E3 Direct as an item shop skin alongside possibly Jonesy being added to Super Smash Bros. Obviously, to take this silhouette all the way to Jonesy coming to Smash is really reaching, but this could be further proof that Samus might actually be showing up in Fortnite, or at least may have at one time been planned to show up in Fortnite when this comic was being made. And Nintendo getting characters in Fortnite could mean the opposite is possible too. Fortnite characters showing up in a Nintendo game, such as Jonesy showing up in Super Smash Bros. After all, we did have that Zoom call between Jeff Keighley and Donald Mustard, where Mustard said they couldn't comment about Super Smash Bros. Who knows if any Fortnite content is getting in Smash, and if it does, what that might end up looking like. A playable fighter, a Mii costume, or a spirit event or something. Anyway, Smash aside, we'll just have to wait and see if Samus really does show up in Fortnite. Also, I feel I should point out that this isn't the first time Samus appeared in the background of a random comic book. Samus and Geno actually appeared in the background of a Transformers comic book. Very random and strange, I know, but this did happen. Also, there's a character named Geno in Fortnite, and I'm still considering making a which is the better gaming crossover game, Smash Bros. Or Fortnite video at some point. Alright, so Nintendo actually announced a lot of stuff recently, which is sort of surprising considering how close we are to E3. A little while back, Samus Hunter 2 wrote, "Starting this month, we are going to see more news on the #Zelda series. It will likely be an appetizer before the main course at E3, but we are entering the #Zelda 35th anniversary." We knew we were getting Age of Calamity stuff already this month, so I didn't think too much of this one. But it turns out we have actually now gotten some new Zelda news this month, so Samus Hunter 2 was right about this. A new Amiibo has been announced for Skyward Sword. It's Zelda and her Loftwing together as a single Amiibo. The Amiibo itself looks really cool. I can't wait to add this one to my Zelda Amiibo collection. You can scan the Loftwing Amiibo to fast travel between the sky and the surface world, which sounds like a very awesome quality of life upgrade to add to Skyward Sword HD. Though I'm actually more interested to see if this Amiibo could have applications for Breath of the Wild 2. On my Discord, Prem wrote, "Twilight Princess HD comes out, Wolf Link Amiibo comes out alongside it. Wolf Link is usable in Breath of the Wild 1 as a companion. Skyward Sword HD comes out, Loftwing Amiibo comes out alongside it. Loftwing is usable in Breath of the Wild 2 as a companion." I'm calling it, it's gonna happen. This is such a cool theory. I would absolutely love to get a Loftwing in Breath of the Wild 2. Being able to fly anywhere would be amazing. It sounds kind of game-breaking to think they'd allow us to just fly around Hyrule in an open-world Zelda game. But from what we've seen of Breath of the Wild 2, it's possible the real exploration this time around could be taking place mostly underground, and maybe freely exploring the overworld on a Loftwing wouldn't actually be such a game-breaking feature. Anyway, this Amiibo announcement has stirred up some controversy. See, already many people aren't so keen about ports of older games being sold at full price, and Nintendo is notorious for charging $60 for their remastered games. Now, this isn't always a really scummy practice. Basically, if the improvements to the game feel worthwhile for the resell at a full price, then Nintendo can sort of be justified that it's worth it for the fans to buy it. For instance, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury added a lot of new content, especially that Bowser's Fury mode, and it felt like the game was improved enough to warrant the resale price being $60. We know Skyward Sword HD is going to retail at $60, and while it will of course be upgraded to HD and it's going to have those new controls for the Switch, this fast travel feature that the Amiibo brings into the game certainly feels like the sort of quality of life upgrade that should be part of what's justifying the $60 price tag of the game, rather than an additional feature that's locked behind whether or not you've also bought the Amiibo. We've also learned the Japanese amiibo is selling for 2,750 yen, which is around $25-ish. So this is going to be an even more expensive amiibo than most of them. I assume the higher price tag is because it's likely one of the larger amiibos, but that still doesn't justify why a remastered game being sold at full price is getting one of its features locked behind a physical paywall. Had they simply bundled the amiibo and the new feature into the game for a total price of $60, that would actually seem like a really good deal and a good justification to resell this old game at the full $60 price. I personally love amiibo, but they've always had a difficult hurdle to overcome. The issue is, if they don't add much into a game, then they're basically just figurines, which is fine, but not what they're sold to us as. Conversely, if they do too much for a game, then that can be seen as dishonest DLC that is locking features of the game behind a price tag for buying the amiibo. Now, I really like DLC when it feels like it was something worked on to actually add more to the game, such as the Smash DLC, which is clearly being created now, long after the base game development time was done and what could have been allowed for. So the more DLC we're getting in Smash really feels like extra content that you can get later on. They're just continuing the game. But any feature that could be part of a game from the start, being locked behind paying more for that as DLC, feels pretty scummy. And Amiibo have a difficult time escaping that problem. Not to mention, Amiibo can have scarcity issues, and it might be tough to find them in the future, which can basically cut a whole feature out of a game. Even if you're willing to pay that extra money for them initially, they're probably going to be really expensive through scalpers and stuff online in the future, and if you want that game content, you're going to have to pay. Generally, Nintendo has been pretty good about what kinds of features Amiibo add to their games. Usually it's nothing too important, so they don't feel crucial to experiencing the full game. Things like game cosmetics or skins for characters, which add nothing but further style to a game, seem to be the best option for the type of features to lock behind Amiibos. But this time, it feels like it's actually locking you out of a new gameplay ability. And the real kicker here is it's a new feature for a remastered game that's going to sell at the same price the original game did almost 10 years ago. Definitely feels like any new features I should be getting already for paying the $60 again for this game. I'm excited for the Amiibo itself, it looks really good, but this was probably not the right game to lock a new gameplay feature behind an extra expensive Amiibo. So we also saw more of the new Mario Golf Super Rush game coming to the Nintendo Switch on June 25th. A new video showed off what appears to be the full starting roster, though there appears to be about 8 more spots for potentially unlockable characters or DLC. Very happy to see King Babam showing up here, although lately it feels very random which Mario characters are getting in which games. They seem to drop some random Mario characters to add others, instead of simply growing the list of Mario characters that have been appearing in these spin-off and sports game rosters over the years. Even stranger about the randomness for which characters don't end up in a Mario spin-off game and which new random enemies do is that they always seem to pick a single, very random enemy for each of these different games. Like Pom Pom being playable in Mario Party, or Chain Chomp in Mario Tennis Aces, or here we have Chargin' Chuck playable in the new Mario Golf. It sort of feels like there's someone at Nintendo who dishes out a single, somewhat obscure, random Mario enemy to every game with no plans for them to become a more regularly appearing staple Mario spin-off character. It's just odd that not a single Mario enemy is being promoted heavily, it's just sort of random that different ones are promoted heavily in different games. Heck, even Smash Bros. Doesn't seem to have completely escaped this idea, as Piranha Plant was a really odd choice for a Smash fighter, and we got Piranha Plant. Over on Discord, Ambience wrote, "I'm starting to wonder if she will get in Smash," and then showed a picture of Pauline. "Hey PapaGenos, what do you think?" I said, potential bonus fighter type character maybe? If there's a strong future there, like if Odyssey 2 happened. Or if that rumored DK game features her, which would maybe make sense actually, as she's clearly a DK-related character. Pauline would be a really odd choice to have as one of the remaining fighters in the Fighter Pass, but maybe if Nintendo plans on keeping her around for the future, she could make a decent candidate as a possible bonus fighter, like Piranha Plant, if something like that is even happening at all, of course. We do have rumors of a new DK game possibly being made by the Mario Odyssey team, the latest game that had Pauline kind of brought back out of obscurity. Pauline was heavily featured in New Donk City, and New Donk City referenced a lot of Donkey Kong stuff. So maybe Pauline could once again be featured heavily, but into a new DK game rather than a Mario game. Just speculation on top of an already speculated DK game, of course, though, but it would be cool to see Pauline show up in her original game series, Donkey Kong. Nintendo just announced some new titles for the Nintendo Switch Online. Over on Twitter, Nintendo of America wrote, 5 titles are coming to the hashtag Super NES and hashtag NES. Hashtag Nintendo Switch Online Collection 526. Super NES Nintendo Switch Online, Super Baseball Simulator, Caveman Ninja, also known as Joe and Mac, Magical Drop 2, Spanky's Quest, and for the NES Nintendo Switch Online, Ninja Jaja Maru-kun. The Japanese Nintendo Switch Online ends up with a superior lineup, adding Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War. Of course, you can play Japanese Nintendo Switch Online stuff by simply making a Japanese alternate account on your Switch. Anyway, still no Game Boy or N64 added to the Nintendo Switch Online. And still no Mario RPG or Earthbound. It's been 4 years and the Nintendo Switch Online is still only a fraction of the full potential it could be. And it continues updating content at what feels like a snail's pace. Pick it up, Nintendo. Lastly, we learned we're not going to hear about Silksong at E3. Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in to let you know that Team Cherry does not have any announcements/blogs scheduled for E3 this year. So no Silksong at E3. Makes me wonder if a deluxe Hollow Knight Mii costume is still a possibility or not. Probably not at E3 anyway, maybe alongside the final DLC fighter if we don't get both fighters revealed at E3, of course. Alright, well that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. If you guys have any thoughts or comments about any of the stuff I talked about here, leave them below.
Remember to like the video, leave a comment in the section below, and subscribe to PapaGenos!
Twitter, Patreon, Discord.